Arizona Congressman Ruben Gallego said, quote, federal agencies have had time to plan, but their efforts have fallen short. How do you respond to him and some other Democrats who say that you've fallen short?
I would respectfully disagree. We have been planning for months and months, over a year and a half.
We have been planning for months and months, over a year and a half.
Well, illegal border crossings are at an all-time high, according to Customs and Border Patrol. More than 2.7 million migrants crossed the border illegally last fiscal year.
It's time to build back better.
We've expanded our holding capacity in Border Patrol stations. We've added beds to Immigration and Customs Enforcement in our detention facilities. We've increased our transportation resources. We're setting up regional processing centers now. It's extraordinary what we've done over the past 18 months or so.
Oh, really?
For days now, the number of asylum seekers waiting to cross the border has been surging, fueling a humanitarian crisis in parts of Mexico. Up to 12,000 migrants are expected to cross the border daily once Title 42 ends.
To power that cell phone charging station, they've got them labeled with people's names. There's another cell phone charging station right over there by the border fence.
And in fact, if you look at illegal immigration, let's look at CBP encounters. You can see 500,000, it drops to the lowest level, and boom, what happens? You show up. And that red line is you. That red line is Joe Biden.
The southern border is no more. It doesn't exist. Biden told us his phone app for illegals was going to tighten things up. Remember that? Migrants could just make a reservation to break into the country, like open table for illegals. Do you have room for a party of 34 at 8 o'clock? Why, yes. Do you need a high chair? Why, yes, we do. We need 6. Here's the problem. The app's busted. It's worse than the Obamacare website because Joe isn't even trying to fix this. He has a new strategy. He's giving up on the app. You don't need a reservation to break into the country anymore. Now, it's first come, first serve.
As a border agent, we know today Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas said that migrant encounters are down right now. He stated that agents had about 6,300.
Yeah, get that Border Patrol truck in the way. Make sure nobody can see it. This is amazing stuff right here, isn't it? Let's all just accept the state of our country. Make sure the illegal immigrants get better protection and more rights than everybody here.
As you know, late last week, Title 42 ended and the southern border has been turned into a dystopian hellscape beyond what it already was. And so let's take a look at what's happening right now.
Go back to the regular U.S. immigration laws the way it was before COVID.
This bus, they have dozens, if not hundreds of these buses all throughout El Paso, all throughout Texas, taking illegal immigrants everywhere. And it's more important to protect the illegal immigrants and drive this bus through a ravine across the border so they can get them on without the American media seeing them. And this bus is going to take them somewhere deep in the heart of Texas, drop them off. Yeah, get that Border Patrol truck in the way. Make sure nobody can see it. This is amazing stuff right here, isn't it? Let's all just accept the state of our country. Make sure the illegal immigrants get better protection and more rights than everybody here.
Gerald, we've got another clip that our reporters got on the border a few days ago, but I got to ask you, brother, because I respect your view. What do you make of this?
Well, look, when you're pulling a truck in the way so that you can block people from seeing what's going on, when you do it under the cover of darkness, when you're out, it seems a little bit removed from the normal place. He was talking about the bus driving through a ravine.
There's hundreds of buses.
Yeah, it's just like, this is obvious. This is not people doing the right thing. This is
the down low.
Up and up, right? This is trying to hide what's actually going on. And like the permanent underclass never enjoys the rights and protections that everybody else does. And it's a disservice to people to tell them to come to the United States for the American dream, because when they get here and they work off of payroll, they work under the table, they live in communities that are ridden with crime, and you can't call the police because one of the questions might be,
ghettos.
Are you here legally? And so they'll get deported. And guess who knows that? The cartels, the gangs.
Exactly. And again, and that permanent underclass sets a precedent to suck everything else down.
Yeah.
What we let happen to the least of us happens to us.
And on Sunday, the head of the Roman Catholic Church unexpectedly referred to the ongoing tragedy.
The exclusion of migrants is scandalous. Indeed, it's criminal. It makes them die in front of us.
100,000 people have attended an open-air mass in a central Budapest square on Pope Francis's third and final day in Hungary. The Pope urged Hungarians not to close the door on migrants and those who he said were foreign or unlike us.
In recent years, we've seen the Republican Party and its members embrace a version of the theory that immigrants are being brought here to dilute the votes of Republicans and conservative Americans.
What appears to them is we're replacing national-born American, native-born Americans to permanently transform the political landscape.
Is it really they want to remake the demographics of America to ensure that they stay in power forever?
They can't win re-election in 2022 unless they bring in a large number of new voters to replace the voters that are already here. That's what this is about. We have an invasion in this country.
Democrats who want to replace you, the American voters, with newly amnestied citizens.
Congress is not going to act because one party has a vested interest in changing the population.
If you use the term as an invasion, that's not anti-Hispanic, it's a fact.
I have less political power because they're importing a brand new electorate. Why should I sit back and take that?
I think this will be the last election that the Republicans have a chance of winning, because you're going to have people flowing across the borders. You're going to have illegal immigrants coming in, and they're going to be legalized, and they're going to be able to vote. And once that all happens, you can forget it.
Police districts, field houses, and possibly a vacant high school. Finding shelter for the surge of migrants is a huge challenge that is about to get worse next week. While time is running out for the Lightfoot administration, the new surge will arrive just in time for Mayor-elect Brandon Johnson's inauguration. We caught up with him in West Rogers Park at two events on his public schedule. Johnson refused to answer questions about the migrants. Earlier this week, Mayor Lightfoot pleaded with Texas Governor Greg Abbott to stop sending migrants to Chicago. And while she said the city has no more room, sources say there has been frustration on the state level with a lack of plan from the Lightfoot administration. And Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle says it costs Cook County Health $1.8 million a month to care for migrants' medical needs. But she says addressing their needs shouldn't just fall on Chicago and Cook County. Preckwinkle says the migrant surge is challenging on all levels of government, but it will no doubt be one of Brandon Johnson's biggest challenges from day one. And so far, we've heard very little about his plan.
Cheryl, tonight the city of Chicago has not said if there are plans to open what they call a respite center in the former shuttered South Shore High School have been finalized. But people who live in that neighborhood made it very clear how they feel.
For city leaders who came looking for a conversation over opening the doors of a shuttered South Shore High School to migrants.
What's important is that we really establish that this is a humanitarian crisis, and we're here.
South Shore residents responded with resounding rejection.
While this crisis may constitute an emergency for the city of Chicago, it does not constitute an emergency for the South Shore community.
Incoming migrants have overwhelmed district police stations by the hundreds.
It's my turn. It's my turn. Hello.
But city leaders could barely eke out a word of the details about a proposed respite center at the former South Shore High School.
When it comes to the total number of people at South Shore at any given point in time, it is fluid. We'd start with 250, 500.
How could you do that without consulting us?
I am concerned with safety in the area.
The Chicago Police Department will put 24/7 officers at that location.
Those are exactly the kind of services Southside residents say they've begged for and been denied.
Every homeless immigrant that you bring in, that you scoop up one of the homeless individuals in our community, I think that would be fair.
You know, our democracy, for better or worse, you know, was designed to provide like enfranchisement to individuals, of course, who have, you know, the legal presentation of being here. I think that should be maintained. You know, now as far as, you know, undocumented families having some say-so in the direction of our public schools, I think that's worth figuring out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're dropping your kids off. You know, I don't believe that families, you know, should be shut out of the ability to have influence. You know, and it's why we fought for democracy.
It's extraordinary what we've done over the past 18 months or so.
Wow. Just wow.